So hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I would basically be covering the client server architecture. So client server architecture, right? And this is a very important concept. This is very important, and I would say that watch this video very carefully because this concept has helped me a lot. Has like I studied this 7 years back, this client server architecture in school, and it has been useful to me ever since. And it is very important to clear such fundamentals. So I just wanted to give a small disclaimer of that. Other than that, it is a very easy concept, no need to worry about it. Right. So let's get started. See, we have two things. We have the client and we have the server. We have the client and we have the server, right? Server. Now what happens is that client is you, right? Client is you, like the computer I am working on, that is client. And this server, this is a computer. What is a server? It is a computer that is located somewhere in the world, right? It is located somewhere in the world, and it contains your code, your data in the sense that it is connected to your database, and the data which is coming from the database is being processed. Data from DB is processed here, right? So what is a client? Client is basically you. Server is a computer that is located in somewhere in the world, and it contains the application code as well as it is connected to the database such that it can retrieve the data from the database and it can store the data in the database, right? And that data which it is handling can be manipulated or processed by the server, right? And how they communicate is basically using some example protocol is HTTP or HTTPS. It is hyper text transfer protocol, right? So this works on HTTP, right? And what the client does is that this is a very important part of the video. The client makes a request. Making a request basically means the client is sending some HTTP packets to the server, right? So sending packet. Then what the server does, the code in server receives the request, processes it, uses / stores data in TB, and then what it does, that it returns a response, right? And whenever you, for example, go www.xyz.com, what this really means is that you are the client, this is you, right? This is your computer. You type this in your computer. Then there is a computer, for example, this is in India, and this server is in Switzerland, right? So my computer basically sends a request over here. This server has the code and is connected to the DB, and this processes my request and then sends me the response, and I go to the website xyz.com, right? Now one last part is that this part, if we are only using clients and server, then this is known as a two-tier architecture. And if we are using client, server and database is basically represented like this. This is the database. Then this was 2-tier, and this whole is 3-tier. When you include the database as well, it becomes 3-tier, right? Now let's just clean this up a little bit. Right. So this is our client, this is our server, and this is our database, right? We were calling it 3-tier. Yeah. Now there is something known as N-tier. So in this N-tier system, we can have, this is just an example of a 3-tier system. We can have a client, then it could be connected to a load balancer, or it could be, if not load balancer, it could be a proxy. Then it can be connected to server, right? Then DB. this is one n-tier architecture or 4-tier architecture, whatever you want to call. Or we can also do, for example, uh, client server cache. So we are basically adding a caching layer in this, and we have db. This also is part of the n-tier architecture. So whenever we are designing a system and we apply multiple components in our basic client server architecture, then we can basically call it as an n-tier architecture, right? So now that's not a problem. Yeah. So now let's see. Yeah. Now just a last concept, that if, okay, this is your client and this is your server. If and we have our processing load, if it is on the client side, then it is a thick client, and if it is on the server side, then it is known as a thin client, right? Thick client and thin client. So this was all about client server architecture. I hope you were able to understand, and I hope you were able to get value out of this. If you think that this video was valuable and uh, can help you in the future, please do consider subscribing, because I am targeting to reach about 100 subscribers, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you.